Hello again, timing gurus and race beam breakers. Right, so we're back in here. I've changed some parameters just so we don't have to wait a minute 45 for a DNS, or if not false finish, and a DNF of 6 minutes. So I've changed that to 15 seconds for a non-finish. Right, so we have our competitors. We have Bob, who's about to start, and we have Jess and Clint. Right, so Bob's going to be here, he's running, and then next in the start list, once he starts, that will turn to Jessica, and he'll come down in running sequence. At the moment, you'll see there's 2 red lines, red boxes. That means that the start and finish gates are effectively not logging anything. I'll go orange, so it's showing that it's all communicating through, but you can run it into the file and you won't log any times. Okay, so we're going to turn those on. Effectively now we have our first person sitting at the start gates, which is Bob, and he's getting ready. First run of the day, happy days, Gibson Valley or QCC test course, track, whatever. And we're going to run through. So he goes through the start gates. Alright, Bob is racing. So we have a minimum finish time of 15 seconds. So I'm going to top it there, but you'll see Bob's still running. We're going to run Jess and Clint pretty close together. Right, so if I go now to a finish, Bob will now finish. Cool, he's pretty quick, 183.84 kilometers an hour because it's a 1.5 kilometer track. Far out, eh? Right, so Jess is running, Clint's running. You'll see now if I stop that, there's Jess and Clint is still running down here. Right. And now let's say Clint doesn't make it. Let's go for 40 seconds. Give or take. Right, so now we can go and close those. No, did not finish. Yeah, so we have to wait for 15 seconds because that's a minimum run time. Cool. Okay. Jess is going as well. And then we'll wait for Clint one more time. Cool. Right. So now that I won't knock these again this time, the photo cells, let's go through. Okay, so now we have some of the info. Alright, but easier to see up like this. So we have Bob started. And then remember after about 10 seconds or so, 8 seconds I hit the finish. So it logs it as a finish, but there's no finish time because Bob was only less than 15 seconds into his race. So effectively he was still running. It was a bit of dust went through the finish line early for whatever reason. Someone kicked him through, dog run through. Yeah, and then you'll see we had Jess and Clint start close together within half a second. And then Bob finished, and Bob had a finish time of 19.59 seconds. Then next we have Jess finish in 21.59, and then Clinton, we went through the finish gates again at 39.77. Then I knocked over the start photo cell and started all 3 of them again, funnily enough. Good job, eh? And then I went through and I did another attempt at, did not non-finish, minimum finish time, which you can see there. So Bob was 21.49 in 15 seconds, and then 21.49 24, which gives us about 9 seconds, give or take. And it needs to be 15 to be classed as a finish. So it still logs it as a finish line beam break, but not as an actual finish. Then Bob finished, and then Jess finished, and then Clint finished. On the side there, you'll give it your fastest time in order. So we have a podium of Bob at 16.3. We have our second place of Jess at 21.59, and then Clint have a time of 29.43. Easy as that. So I hope that kind of explains how the system works. Next we're going to go through and sit down on the iPad and go through DNFs, DNS, all that sort of stuff. Alright, talk soon.